And I
Yeah.
saw you were in South Dakota, and I was born in South Dakota, right near there where you were riding the motorcycle.
Okay. Where? Which town, huh?
I was actually born in Spearfish, and that's like really close to Sturgis, where they do the largest
Yeah.
motorcycle rally.
Yes.
So you had fun over there.
Yeah, we went for that buffalo roundup.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was once a year event, so we went there for that.
Oh, that's so interesting. That's cool. Yeah, my grandmother, she lived in Custer, so that was like where they had, like, all the buffalo.
Hmm.
So I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being here. And I have a few questions to ask you. We're sharing across our platform with OMTV. And, today is Indigenous Peoples Day. So I definitely am going to ask you a question about that, especially because that's been such a big part of your road trip. And and I really think it's a big part of like what's happening in the world right now. Like I live in Hawaii and you were just in South Dakota, and you see everywhere a lot of the indigenous people have been, they call it colonized, I guess, is where like white people come in, take their land, and then push them off. And it's really kind of happening everywhere in the Amazon and all over the world. And so my question, I guess, is, since this has been happening for so long, what can we do to kind of like change the way this is going on? Like, I don't know whoever came along and said like, this is my land, you need to get off now, but it created such a deep imprint of trauma and resentment from the indigenous people to these people, that and it's created a huge disconnect. And I would love to see more like oneness and respect for the indigenous tribal people. I don't know what we can do for that. What do you think? What's your perspective?
See, what has happened historically, you can't fix that now, okay? We must understand we cannot fix the past. But by becoming conscious now of how we function, we can fix the future. When I say fix the future, well, whatever happened, happened, but now indigenous people are living in reservations. But these reservations must be kept as reservations, it should not be allowed… they should not be allowed to sell the land to others. Maybe they can lease it out if they want, but sale must be taken away so that tomorrow, next generation of indigenous people, if they decide to farm the land, they must be having land to farm. Right now, because of financial requirements or individual, enterprise, somebody sells off the land. So piece by piece, the reservations are being sold out. Well, this might have been done with good intention that you own the land so you can sell it if you wish, kind of thing. But over a period of time, there'll be no reservation left. So, if maximum of 10 years or 15 years they can lease, beyond that they cannot lease it, so that at least for the next generation the land will be there and they can choose to do whatever they wish to do, that kind of a law would be helpful to maintain the indigenous culture, because they being together is important if you want to maintain that culture. Why the culture is important is, today we are talking a lot about environment and stuff.
Years
But
or 15 years, they can lease.
who's that?
Sorry. No, that was good. Go ahead.
Someone is talking for you.
The indigenous people are speaking up. Yeah.
So, I'm saying the land should be retained in their hands, otherwise in another 50 to 100 years' time, there may be no reservation left. So, as national parks are preserved, similarly if reservations are preserved, so that land is not sold out and next generation, if they wish to really do some enterprise of their own or agriculture of their own, then there'll be no land left. If that one thing can be put across, I don't think there should be much resistance for that from anybody. It is possible to do that. It's just that it must be brought to the political leadership's notice that this is needed. I think it's best that representatives of that community present it to the government and say, let there be no right to sell the land. But this is like it may look like a regressive step, that someone owns the land but they can't sell it. I'm saying in long-term usage of land, If they sell it and sell it piece by piece, after that there will be no reservation left.
Absolutely. Like even in the Amazon, do you think that they should be allocated land from there?
See, Amazon, I don't think it's reservations, it's just private land. So what is private land? You cannot tell them what to do, they will do what they have to do. You can only educate them. You can only try to see how owning the land is a lucrative thing for them, economically help them in such a way they can structure their land in such a way that it yields financial benefits to them. We can do that, but you can't pass a law because it's their private land. And you cannot tell somebody you cannot sell your private land when you need to sell it.
Ah, I see. So it's a complicated issue, definitely, but
The solutions are there if we apply ourselves to find solutions. But the problems are advantageous to certain people, so they may not want the problems to go away. So
yeah,
it is like this in the world, but considering all that the indigenous people have gone through in the past few centuries, I think a little bit of consideration from everybody would make a difference.
absolutely.
It's just a more compassionate way of handling our lives, that's all.
Absolutely, 100%. I think that that's the key to it all, is that we do have to see that they are us. So my next question is actually a little bit about that. And in the philosophy of Taoism, the belief is that everything is the Tao, which is another word for the infinite consciousness, or what I like to call the flow. And you're also a speaker in the Flow Summit that's coming out later this month. And I really,
Really?
yeah, you're
Am I?
part of this. You're a speaker
Oh,
everywhere. You might not remember, but you're a part of this thing called Flow Summit, and
oh.
Flow Summit is being released in the English language this month. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the energy of flow, and if you could describe for anyone who might not be familiar with this, like the connection to the field of pure potential, which could be called flow or the Tao. Different cultures call this different things. I would like to hear from your perspective how connecting to this field can positively impact people's lives. I feel like this is one of the reasons that we encourage people to meditate, but especially during this time of the lockdown, and statistically mental health has just plummeted, and there's a lot of more mental health issues than ever before. So I feel like this is a really important, relevant topic with mental health, and helping people to maybe through meditation or other practices to be able to access connection to the field, and how that can benefit people's lives.
See, conceptually, it may look simplistic, but most people will not be able to even conceptually grasp what is that everything, that one energy. It will be just an intellectual thought. So instead of that, the simpler way to do it is, see, it's very clear that you are inhaling and exhaling right now. I don't know if you do it in Hawaii, but
Yes.
so we are inhaling and exhaling. In a certain way, we know if we stop breathing, we won't live. So in a way, life is constantly being pumped into us. On one level, it is being pumped in and pumped out all the time. So, this whole atmospheric bubble is a kind of a womb which holds us. We are breathing it, endlessly it's supplying us water, but now we know it's not endless. If we misbehave, there will be issues. But right now it is reasonably endless. Because in human perception, whether it is 1,000 miles, 10,000 miles or 10,000 light years, not much difference, What you cannot see is like beyond you, that's all. So, if people… there are ways in the yogic system with which you can connect to the breath. When I say breath, most people have not experienced their breath, in the sense, they have only experienced the sensations caused by the breath and its passage in the nostrils, or maybe expansion and contraction of the chest, but they have not felt the breath itself. So, in yoga we call this the Kurmanadi. If you manage to become aware of the Kurmanadi, then your connection with the body, how you are connected with the body and how you are connected with the larger existence, both become very clear to you because you are now seeing the breath itself. Not the sensations caused by the breath, not the expansion, contraction caused by the breath, but the breath itself, if you see, that means you are seeing the Kurmanadi or become conscious of the Kurmanadi, then your connection with the larger existence is very clear to you. It is a much simpler and practical way to do it rather than imagining an endless space. I'm not saying it's not true, but I'm saying in most people's conceptualization, it'll just become a hallucinatory process. They start thinking they're dancing on the stars and they're doing this and that. Once you become hallucinatory, in trying to be spiritual or mystical, then, there is no limit on hallucinations, it can go on endlessly.
That's true. Good point. I like that. And that's true. The breath is, let me ask you, this is a little bit of a question from that one question, but basically, the breath is your spirit, is your connection to spirit. And then you're saying it's connection to everything. But is there any way for somebody to really intimately understand like the source of that? You're saying to just enter through just starting there, like the basic, just connecting to it. But what is the feeling of that?
See, once it's very clear to you, there's something like this. Suppose right now I take away your breath, what happens? You and your body will fall apart. So, it is the breath or the Kurmanadi which is tying you up to the body. Your ability to hold on to the body is because of this nadi, this Kurmanadi, which is tied to your body. If you unknot this, then you and your body will become separate. So similarly, at the other end, which is no end, also it's connected. Once you once you hold the rope, you can go both ways. You can go to that place where you're tied to your body, you can also go to that place which is infinite space. So, breath is a very good medium to realize this experientially, not intellectually thinking up something. Experientially, if you wish to know, breath is a good thing to go by. What the problem right now that's happened is, this is also entered the spiritual space. Everybody is reading scriptures, everybody is reading books, everybody knows all the words. Somewhere our thought has become far more significant than our attention. It's the attention which opens up the doors. Thought is just a recycle of something that we already know. You can call it Tao, you can call it prana, you can call it this, you can call it that, but these are all just words, just vocabulary. Improving the vocabulary is not going to enhance our life. What is needed is attention. If our attention is keen enough, intense enough, and if we can sustain, there is no door in the universe that will not open to you. Every door will open to
you. Yes. Thank you. I love that description. I completely agree with you. The other question I have for you is, I actually read two of your books. I read Inner Engineering and I also read Adi Yogi. And I wanted to thank you. I love both of those, especially for, honestly, I really love Adi Yogi because I think most people, I'm teaching yoga already 15 years and I didn't hear the way that you described it in anywhere else. So I think everyone should read that book. It's very, very interesting, especially the distinction between the yogic path and the tantric path, but how they're both leading the same place, right? And I love how you described that. It was just so well written.
There's a whole lot of that subject, much more about that subject. Now in what is called as… it is coming out as a series called Sadhguru Exclusive. It's there on our app, I think. So look it up, about Tantra, Yoga, Prana, the different dimensions of it, in a way that it is a bit hard to talk to the general public because it'll be misunderstood. So, it is put in a compartment called exclusive. Only if you enroll into that, they allow you to see that. Because here we are going at it with no holds barred, without social concerns about what is what. Life is the way it is. Whether you like it or you don't like it, it is the way it is. You and me are made the way we are, simply because somebody thinks otherwise, this will not become otherwise. Life is the way it is. So, this is an effort to look at life just the way it is, not the way society approves or does not approve. Because today they may not approve something, tomorrow they will approve it. Did it become right? Always it was what it was. It is just that your idea of something is changing all the time. So social process and existential processes are two different things. Yoga and Tantra are concerned with the existential, not with the social aspects of life.
Right. Well, so my understanding and perspective is that both of those practices are aiming to the same experience, which is this feeling of flow and oneness. And that truly is kind of the purpose of doing any of this, is my understanding. So I would love to, if just as a explanation from you, if you could describe perhaps what do you think that can really help people more than anything right now. And in your answer to my other question the other day, you said people need to be in a joyful state, and I was thinking about the energy of joy, and then you also a lot of times use the word blissful, and these are blissful, joyful. I'm totally on board with that. And then when I describe it, I usually call it flow state, which is basically that blissful, joyful energy. But when it comes down to improving people's lives, helping them to be able to live their best life, is that what you would say, that to just improve your state, to get into a flow state or a joyful state or a blissful state would be the priority? And then from there, all the other things can improve as well?
See, essentially it's about this, that you and your faculties, your own body, your own mind, your own thought, your own emotion does not become an impediment in your life. Outside there are many challenges, but you yourself, if you become a challenge to yourself, then what is the point I'm saying? So right now for most human beings, their own thought, their own emotion is a massive issue. They spend a whole lifetime trying to deal with that. Just to deal with the compulsions of their body, compulsions of their mind and emotion, people spend their whole life. Still, even at the age of 80, they are not free from that. Because without addressing this aspect, whether I'm an impediment to myself, once I'm an impediment to myself, who can save me, huh? Nobody can save this one. So essentially, it is about this. You remove everything that is coming in your way. These are all things that you picked up, and now they've become… you believe that they're a part of you, and now they're coming in your way. That has to go. If that one thing happens, rest is just natural, life will happen in its fullest burst. You can call it by whatever name you want, it's up to you. But essentially, it's just life. Life has manifested in so many dimensions. All of it is wide open and alive, nothing is hidden. You're hiding from it. You have built your own fortresses and you're hiding from everything. If you're willing to demolish what you have built, the entirety of life, creation and the source of creation, is all available to you. Nobody is denying it to you except yourself. That is the tragedy of human existence. If somebody was denying it to you, we could have complained, we could have gotten rid of the person. But the problem is, we are denying it to ourselves just to make people realize that it's you who is in the way. It's a very simple process, but people take a lifetime.
Absolutely. So how do people get out of their way? What's your opinion? How do the people get out of their way?
Well, a certain process, I don't know if you have done that. app, it's free, millions of people are doing it around the world, it's called Isha Kriya.
Oh, yeah.
It's a process, because there are only two impediments, which are accumulations. Your body is an accumulation. You know, when you were born in Dakota, you were only this much. Now you become like this, grown woman. How did this happen? Just the food that you've eaten. So what you call as my is an what you call as my mind is also an accumulation. What you accumulate can be yours, but it can never ever be you. So, this Isha Kriya is about this, about maintaining a certain distance between you and your body, between you and your mind. What is you, what is not you? If that is experientially clear to you, you really don't have a single problem in your life. Because all your problems are either body-based or mind-based, isn't it? Once there is a distance between you and your body, between you and your mind, this is the end of suffering. There is no…
That's true. Is Isha Kriya the same as Shambhavi? Because I believe that's the same, right?
No. Shambhavi is a more complex process which is taught in a program.
Oh.
Isha Kriya can be just learnt online.
Is that when in the you have a program online, inner engineering course, right? And it's like…
It is there, but I'm saying Isha Kriya is simply available as a practice.
Oh, okay. In the
It's
app?
just a 12 to… yeah, in the app it's available. Just a 12 to 15-minute practice. Initially for guided voice, but after some time you can do it by yourself.
Oh, yeah. I love Kriyas. So it includes a mantra, right? It's like a mantra and a breath and mudra and like a combination of different things combined.
Well, it's an English mantra.
Oh, it is?
Yes, it is.
Wow, okay. Cool. I like all the mantras, but you know, I have to say one of your mantras, it's on Spotify. It's like the only one that you have that you sing with your voice. It's like I think it's considered like the Isha mantra or something because you have the words Isha in there. But anyway, I had a boyfriend one time. He was like your biggest fan, and we would sing that every single day. We sang that mantra together every day for like 20, 30 minutes. And so I have it very deeply in my soul now. So thank you for that.
So what, you chanted the mantra and made him disappear?
Basically, that's what happened. But it was actually really healing his mind because he had Asperger's, but he had autism, and it was interesting. Like the mantras and kriyas was really healing for his mind. And one of my friends who works with Harvard for research, he's been doing 20 years of research to show how kriyas change your brain, and they literally open up brain lobes and rewire neural synapses, and can heal your brain and awaken all sorts of areas of the brain that are not available for most people.
Don't tell me all that, I don't have brain. I'm just…
Well, I mean,
just
not
empty
that you
space.
don't sit there, but like, because some people are missing a link or two, so it does help on that level. You know what I mean? I think this is one thing. I watched an interview with you one time, you and Deepak, and it was so cute. Like he said to you, not everyone can just stumble into existence like you did. And I laughed because it was so true. And at the same time, you can see the difference when somebody's really in their mind a lot and that like you're not. So it's really so
I
obvious.
don't have one, huh? It's empty space, see? Isn't it? Yeah.
Well, you're very intelligent, but I think, so where do you think that comes from? I always think of that as flow state, where you're not using your brain, you're accessing infinite intelligence by just connecting to the space.
This is a living intelligence, this cosmos. But unfortunately, human beings think they are intelligent.
Yeah.
If you are so intelligent, what creates you must be more intelligent than you, isn't it? So, unfortunately, this has gone on in the world, which has caused a whole lot of confusion. People say God is peace, people say God is love. If they don't know how to be peaceful, they think God is peace. If they don't know how to love anyone or nobody loves them, then they will say God is love. If they are continuously failing in their lives, they will say God is compassion. Like this, they will go on so many qualities. All the things that human beings can be, they're exporting it to heaven. But if you don't believe any of these nonsense that others are saying, and just pay attention to creation, if you just look at one leaf, how it is made, all you can see is intelligence, intelligence and the highest level of intelligence in every piece of creation. But nobody said God is intelligence. That is the biggest mistake we did.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful. I agree. I think that you get your so much more wisdom just from being in nature. Like you're by that tree. That tree has so much more to teach than almost any human, right? Because it has this infinite eternal nature that is at its essence, right?
I'm not in that level of evolution that tree is teaching me things, please.
Oh, you don't feel it? But on the energy level, like on a level of energy where you feel
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
That's a
it is
feeling.
inhaling what I exhale. It likes carbon dioxide, I like oxygen, so
Yeah.
we're doing good, good partnership we have.
Yeah. Without that, what do we have? That's so true. Well, thank you so much, Sadhguru. This
Thank
has
you,
been such a joy, and I send
thank
you
you
so
very
many
much.
blessings for your road trip. Thank you for your time. Many blessings. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaskar.